Thank you for joining this self-learning session. During this session you will be able to deepen your knowledge and skills on the topic gender segregation on the decision-making and labor market through watching a short video, completing the practical exercises.
Within this learning session you will understand the concept of gender segregation and its manifestations in different sectors and occupations. Explore how cultural norms, biases and stereotypes influence gender segregation. Critically analyze the consequences of gender segregation in the labor market. Let's start.
Gender segregation is the differences in patterns of representation of women and men in the labor market, public and political life, unpaid domestic work and caring, and in young women's and men's choice of education.
Occupational gender segregation refers to the tendency of men and women to work in different professions.
There are two types of occupational gender segregation: vertical segregation and horizontal segregation.
Horizontal segregation is concentration of women and men in different sectors and occupations. Horizontal segregation is when almost all workers of a specific work industry are of the same gender. Industries that women usually choose are connected to caregiving, for example, a kindergarten or school teacher, a nurse. And men usually choose jobs connected to technologies, for example, an engineer, an IT specialist.
Men are more likely to be plumbers, engineers and IT professionals. Women's employment is concentrated in what's known as the 5 C's: cleaning, caring, clerical, cashiering, retail, and catering. For example, teachers in schools and kindergartens are usually women and firefighters are usually men. This happens because of stereotypes that women are gentle, caring, kind, so they can work better with children, while men are strong and fearless, so they can do a risky job. These stereotypes have strong impact on choosing the professions and jobs.
The uneven concentration of women and men in different sectors of the labor market is a persistent problem in the EU.
3 in 10 women work in education, health and social work, compared to only 8% of men. These sectors are traditionally low paid. On the other hand, almost a third of men is employed in science, technology and engineering, compared to only 7% of women.
Manifestations of gender segregation can be observed across various sectors and occupations, highlighting the disparities that exist in the workforce. Women make up the majority of frontline workers, 76% of healthcare workers, 82% of food store cashiers, 86% of personal care workers, 93% of childcare workers and teachers, 95% of domestic cleaners and helpers.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, fields have long been characterized by significant gender imbalances. Women tend to be underrepresented in engineering, computer science, and physics, while men dominate these disciplines. Societal biases, lack of female role models, and gender stereotyping contribute to this segregation.
Vertical segregation is the imbalance between women and men in leadership categories. It is concentration of women and men in different grades, levels of responsibility or positions. Vertical segregation is a situation when women do not get promoted beyond some level in the organization. Vertical occupational segregation exists when men and women both work in the same labor market sectors, but men commonly take higher positions than women. A company where women only work in low positions with smaller salaries and men work in top positions with higher salaries has vertical segregation.
A clothing factory where the sewing machine operators are women and all the supervisors are men. A clothing shop where women are shop assistants and cleaning staff and men are managers and bosses. This happens because of gender stereotypes that women are not as smart and skilled as men are and that women are better housewives and men are better workers. Such thinking is negative both for women who cannot get promoted even if they are qualified for the job and for the companies that are losing skilled female employees.
Artificial impediments and invisible barriers that militate against women's access to top decision-making and managerial positions in an organization. A glass ceiling is a metaphor for the barrier that women experience in their careers. It means that it is more difficult for women to build a career than for men because of gender stereotypes. As a result of glass ceiling, women have to work on less prestigious jobs and earn less money even if they are as qualified and skilled as men are.
Vertical segregation influences weaker women's positions in the decision-making. Women are underrepresented in decision-making positions. However, gender equality and diversity are recognized to have beneficial effects on organizations, institutions, and the overall economy. As women represent over half of the population and have talent, human capital and productivity equal to men, the global economy would benefit from boosting women's participation in the labor force. Therefore, it is important to remove the glass ceiling, the invisible barriers which prevent women from reaching upper-level positions. It may produce not only more equality but also substantial efficiency gains.
European Commission Directive on Improving the Gender Balance Among Directors of Listed Companies and Related Measures requires that large listed EU companies to meet the target of 40% among non-executive board members or 33% among all directors of the underrepresented sex by June 30, 2026.
Consequences of the gender segregation.
Gender segregation in the labor market has significant consequences for individuals, organizations, and society as a whole.
Gender segregation restricts individuals' career choices and limits their access to certain sectors and occupations. This can result in reduced opportunities for skill development, career advancement, and higher wages. Individuals may feel trapped in occupations that align with traditional gender roles, preventing them from exploring their full potential and pursuing their true interests.
Working conditions are often viewed as one factor underlying gender segregation. Research evidence shows that working conditions for women and men within and between gender-segregated sectors of employment are different. In particular, women in men-dominated sectors tend to experience gender discrimination more often than men, as well as differences in task allocation, fewer opportunities for promotion and lower salaries. At the same time, men working in women-dominated sectors have more opportunities for promotion, take higher posts and earn higher salaries compared to women.
Gender segregation contributes to the gender wage gap, where women tend to earn less than men. Male-dominated fields often offer higher salaries and greater opportunities for career progression, while female-dominated sectors may have lower wages and limited upward mobility.
This disparity in earning potential reinforces economic inequalities between genders. Gender segregation leads to underrepresentation of certain genders in various sectors, amplifies a lack of diversity and creating imbalances of power. This lack of representation hinders decision-making processes, the development of inclusive policies, and limits the perspectives and experiences that shape workplaces and organizations.
Gender segregation can reinforce traditional gender roles, placing additional pressure on individuals to conform to societal expectations. Women often face challenges in balancing career aspirations with caregiving responsibilities, while men may encounter resistance or stigmatization when pursuing careers in traditionally female-dominated fields. This imbalance can lead to work-life conflicts and hinder overall well-being.
Thus, is why we need to combat with gender segregation. That's all for this video lesson. Thank you for your participation. Please continue your learning and complete the exercises provided in the e-learning platform after this video. After successfully finishing the training course, you will be given the certificate.